What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 67 of the Yard Podcast. I'm your host, Randy.
And I'm your host, Conan.
And we've got Ray back with us this week. It is August 4th, Tuesday. Of course, we have a lot to talk about. And of course, we all know the Astros are coming to town, and we will definitely be talking about that. But first things first, I kind of feel like we have to talk about the thing that nobody can stop talking about. And that was the trade deadline, where we almost felt disappointed, and then out of nowhere it seemed like we came out with the best pitcher that we could have asked for.
But can we all agree this was the wildest deadline we've ever seen?
Yeah, I think that can easily be agreed upon. That was the big players from every team. You have the clubs. You have the Cubs blowing up the dynasty that never was, the dynasty that the media and everyone promised ugly, us. Though.
The GM talking about we offered them contracts, and then Rizzo saying, he said something that kind of refuted it, and it was just like, this is getting ugly.
Yeah, it seems not great over there. Rizzo was probably my biggest surprise of the trade deadline. I kind of saw it coming, but I also just felt
I thought he was going to the Red Sox. That's what I've been hearing. And then all of a sudden he went to the Yankees, and I was like, I was expect that one.
Just surprised the Cubs even were willing to get rid of him. That guy, to me, that is the Cubs. The Cubs are not the Cubs without Anthony Rizzo. Chris Bryant felt inevitable. Javi Baez almost
Rizzo
felt inevitable.
Rizzo felt inevitable to me. Baez was the only one I thought they would keep, but they were all gone.
Yeah, Baez thinks he's getting Lindor money. I don't see that happening, so I don't know if that had anything to do with the Cubs. But let's talk about our acquisitions, because I feel like those are probably, at least the Scherzer Turner deal is, I feel like, the biggest one. That was insane. You and I were talking about it, and you had said, I kind of hope the Dodgers go for the kill shot and don't just grab a Scherzer, either give me a Kimbrel and Bryant, give me a Scherzer and Turner. And you and I were talking about this. And
the person I was talking with said that the Dodgers were going big fish hunting. It wasn't just for one player. It was for a package deal. And those are one of the ones that I had mentioned last week on the podcast. And did they ever do it?
Yeah, they did. And they gave up some solid pieces. They gave up what they had to give up in Josiah Gray, Kyber Ruiz, so the number 1 and number 2 prospect in the system, which is definitely not something you ever really see. Then it was Donovan Casey and Gerardo Carrillo, I believe.
Yeah.
They gave them up. So you and I, big Josiah Gray fans, we could not stop talking about him. I watched him last night, and I was actually sad, watching him pitch in the Nationals jersey, but I uniform, but I also know tomorrow, I'm going to be holy shit, this was all worth it. Seeing Max Scherzer out there.
I watched it too, and I was sad. He's just so poised and doesn't let anything get to him. And I can love that about him. It doesn't matter what happens. Some people are like, oh, it looks like he doesn't care, but he cares. It's just whatever, I'll get the next batter. And I love the poise from him. But I think what it boils down to is the Dodgers dealt from a position of depth. Ruiz didn't have a direct pathway to playing time. Smith is one of the better catchers in baseball. I mean, there's Realmuto, Salvador Perez, and maybe Posey, and then him before Posey. It doesn't matter. And he's only 27 years old. So it was kind of an unfortunate thing for Ruiz. Also, with the emergence of Bobby Miller and Ryan Pepio, it may coming back either mid next year or late next year. It just felt like they were able to deal great for the package they got. So, I mean, it seems like a lot, but there's been a lot of talk that I've been told that MLB has shifted in where prospect costs never really equals up to what the team receives. So MLB teams are more likely to do that now. There are outliers, obviously the Tatis Jr. deal. But for the most part, none of these...
You don't think James Shields for Tatis is a good, fair deal? Come on. Could you imagine the White Sox? Yeah, at the time, nobody knew what Tatis was doing, at least not to that extent. But could you imagine
he was he wasn't the top prospect, but he was pretty high up. But it was okay, well, James Shields has...
I think it was kind of one of those things that we don't know 100% what we're going to get with Tatis, make something with it, go from there. But could you imagine Tatis on the White Sox with that team right now? Oh my God, that'd be a very fun, very fun team.
Yeah, so it was more so that the MLB teams are now willing to give that up, because the players that are giving up never turn into superstars. So it was a lot, but at the same time, I feel like, again, they was position of depth. Ruiz wasn't going to get any playing time because of Smith. And as everyone I talked to after the trade, even though how much I love Gray, they said he's a middle of the rotation starter. So it wasn't that bad. It was 1-2 in our system, but our system, I think, isn't as good as it used to be. So I'd probably do it every single time.
Yeah, I've got no problem with it. I think it's a win for both sides, to be honest. And there's very few big trades like this
Absolutely.
where I actually feel this way. I felt this way about the Verdugo bets. I felt like it helped both teams. Both teams needed what was dealt. Boston knew they weren't keeping Betts, so they knew they needed an outfielder for the future. It worked for both sides, and that's exactly how I feel about this trade. I feel like Gray and Ruiz, I'm also very happy for them because they are going to get the playing time that they have deserved to get, and they're not going to be blocked
A
by
little
someone
surprised Ruiz hasn't
standing
been
in their
called up
way.
yet. I don't know
Yeah.
what else they need to see in AAA. I know the gap in AAA is pretty big because we've seen people come up and not do well, like Kelnick, and I think Franco's doing better now. But when he first started, he was really struggling. So we just don't know what we'll get from Gray. I mean, from Ruiz. Like he's been killing in AAA, but is he going to kill it in the major leagues? But they should still give him that chance to get at least some at bats for next year.
You know who's gonna kill it in the major leagues? Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. So we do have that
Facts.
going for us. And
Big facts.
Trey Turner since 2020 is second in baseball, and I think F4 position player wise, at least. I don't know about the pitchers, but he's only behind Tatis. Yep. Yeah. And honestly, that to me is how shortstops line up. Tatis and Trey Turner, two best shortstops in baseball, no doubt about it. Trey Turner is actually Trey Turner is one of those players that you go and look at his stats and you go, why aren't more people talking about what this guy is doing?
Because he's not flashy.
He's one of the best players in baseball this year, though. And it's not even it's not really even a conversation. And the Dodgers just went and picked him up to add to Mookie Betts, to add to Corey Seager, to add to Cody Bellinger whenever he decides to return. Justin Turner, Max Muncy, friggin' red hot Chris Taylor, and like you mentioned, Will Smith. It's insane to think that we are going to have this guy on our team, and the best part is he's not a rental. That's
the reason why they got Gray and the others.
Yeah, they don't get that. Like Scherzer was not netting them Gray or Ruiz without Trey Turner coming over. I just don't think that happens. It would have been a massive overpay. Even though Max Scherzer, he is still a rental. But I mean, Trey Turner just all around fantastic player. So I am very excited.
Scherzer was still good, but when I looked at his numbers, I was like, oh, he's really still really good.
Yeah, I think his numbers have been down a little bit since quite a bit since the sticky stuff, but he's also Scherzer's one of those guys that's going to figure it out. Yeah, I think it's above 4 since the sticky stuff, and that's crazy to think about.
Before he got traded, he was really fucking good.
Yeah. He'll figure it out either way. Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be wild.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be fun. He's expected to get his first start against the Astros. That's going to be a ton of fun. I feel like we don't have to talk about Scherzer and Turner a lot because people already know what they're getting with them. The only thing that does really stick out to me is what it means for Corey Seager. Seager can't play other positions. We talked about this. You told me Turner probably ends up at second base and center field because he has the capabilities to do that. You can't really move Seager. I don't know what, unless they're going to randomly try third base. I don't think that's going to happen with less than 60 games left of the season. But as for his
Seager
future,
sticks at short and Turner probably sticks at second. And then next year, depending what they do, I mean, they could bring Seager back, but he will be playing third base if he comes back.
I think
Turner's playing shortstop.
Yeah, you've got to have the better defensive shortstop out there, and that is Trey Turner. Right now, things are a little bit different. I also wonder, though, if that means the Dodgers have some idea that maybe Seager doesn't return or isn't going to sign an extension or staying in LA, or maybe they've just decided on their own, we don't think this is going to work. I think him and Trey Turner, I think he might be a year younger than Trey Turner. Trey Turner just turned 28 a month ago. So Seager, I think, might actually be a year younger than him. So why not try to extend Trey Turner? Trey Turner's, he's better than Seager. He's a year older, but he's better. He stays on the field more. Granted, this last one wasn't Seager's fault, but he does stay on the field more. He's better defensively. He's faster. So why not try to sign him? Yeah, so Dodgers could try to keep him. Maybe Seager's gone. Who knows? I don't know. I just thought it was a very interesting pickup, but it makes the Dodgers better in more ways than one. And
there was something that I did want to bring up because I was getting a lot of questions, and I'm sure everybody's getting a lot of questions. Well, maybe not everybody, but so my dad and a few other people were asking, what happens to Gavin? I was a little surprised he wasn't in the deal, but when I talked to the person who I trust, he was telling me that the Dodgers are being stubborn with him, and they still wholeheartedly believe that he can be that guy long term. So like his B WAR right now is 1.7 so far. So for a full season, it might likely be closer to 3, which is a solid player. It's not great, but it's solid. So like I think while he's a solid player, he obviously he's not an all-star caliber, but they still believe he can get there. But solid and serviceable is still something that they need, especially with everything coming up. Like they're already in cap hell, and like the Dodgers are going to have to like re-sign Taylor, Kershaw, maybe Scherzer, maybe Seager, maybe Pollock, Knebel, Jimmy Nelson. So I think it's imperative that the Dodgers have players that are just solid or good players that aren't making that much money. So like Will Smith is a great player who's not making that much money. If Lux can be solid and make less money, then he's going to be there because, I mean, as fans, we're all like, oh, we'll just pay the best players, who cares? But it's still run like a business, and they don't want to be in the luxury tax every single year. So some of these players are eventually going to have to go. So that part, I think, is they're holding on to him. And then I saw a report a few days ago saying that he was running 100% in Arizona, but also that he's taking practice at different positions, like he's playing third, the outfield, left and center field. So my thing is, they're thinking if he can be versatile and play different positions, that will get him on the field, and then Chris Taylor can just stick at second or left field occasionally, and then Lux will get his at bats by being able to play different positions. So while he might not be the all-star we're all hoping for, it's end up going to be a solid piece that makes less money. But that's not to say he won't get traded in the offseason if something comes along. That's just their plan for right now. So that it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially when they claim he's healthy, even though he's been healthy. They're just working on things. Does he come back or does he stick in AAA? Because from what I've heard, the Dodgers aren't really too happy with McKinstry right now. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's all kind of a mess that I'm just glad we don't have to deal with. And that's the front office and Robert's job to figure out. Because when Trey Turner shows up, it's going to start. And like, what the hell do you do with Chris Taylor? No reason he should be sitting over someone like Bellinger, who can't seem to do anything right now, unfortunately, besides on defense. There is that. But Trey Turner is still going to be an issue we probably won't have to worry about for another 5, 6, 7 days. He is expected to fly into LA on Friday. He is on the fly into LA on Friday. He's on the COVID IL. They just don't know about what's going on with activation yet. So we'll see what happens there. And then of course there was that other trade for Danny Duffy. So they traded him for a couple like players to be named later, which usually don't turn into be a ton of really anybody's, except for I think Trey Turner was a player to be named later, which is pretty crazy when they had traded for him. So, but most of them don't turn out that way. So don't worry. Danny Duffy currently on the IL with a flexor strain, but he is expected back in September. He spoke to the media in Arizona and told them that he feels like he turned a corner with his forearm injury. So that's great to hear, and said early September seemed like a realistic return date. Have you dove into his pitching numbers much?
I've looked at it, but I've completely forgot to write it down. But what it boils down to is he's been a really good pitcher this year. He's been okay for like the rest of his career, but from what it sounds like is he's going to end up being a bullpen piece, a multi-inning guy. Someone told me that they might use him in that Urias role this year, as Urias did last year. So I think what could happen is like Danny Duffy. Well, obviously, if he's in the Urias role, he wouldn't start. But I was thinking that maybe when he comes back, he'll start as kind of like an opener. He'll go 2 or 3 innings, and then Gonsolin will go 2 or 3 innings, and then you go to your bullpen from there. I think that would probably be the best course of action. But if not, if you want to switch it and have Gonsolin open and then Duffy come in, that's fine too, since Duffy says he's comfortable in the bullpen role and he would accept it. That's great too. Also, he throws a lot of fastballs, but he locates them very well. Doesn't throw hard like 92, but again, he locates very well with all his pitches. So he's really going to help the Dodgers when he comes back healthy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. He seems very open to the bullpen role, so that part is awesome there. Seems like
Also,
he's
grew up a Dodger fan, and when the way he was talking, it was hard not to like love the guy already.
yeah, and I mean, he grew up. He's big Laker fan. I think he's the guy that got the tattoo, wasn't he? That was him. Yeah, he has the tattoo on his arm for Kobe and Gigi, I think, or just Kobe. But he's big loves LA, and I've always a big fan of getting guys like that who grew up because I feel like it can kind of unlock something a little bit more. They always want to play a little bit better for his for their home team. And there was actually a really cool, well, I don't want to say cool story. Hopefully the man is okay, but he had like a heat stroke in Kansas City, and a stranger took a picture with the person who helped him, and it ended up being Danny Duffy, who ran away to go find the man some water while the other man he was happened to see him on the ground, called 911. So Danny Duffy is also just a good human being. So
Good dude, yeah, love
we
good
could
humans.
use lots of those.
Yeah.
But let's get into the games from last week. We dropped that series against the Giants because of course we did. But it it was another hard one to watch. Urias was freaking he was great. He's been great. Like his last three starts now, but he was dealing again last Tuesday, went 5 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts. And of course, just unfortunately had to, I don't even want to say watch the bullpen blow it up because that wasn't even on him.
No, it
First of
wasn't
all,
China's fault. No,
offense
I
scored more
saw
than one
somebody
damn
like,
run.
yeah, I saw somebody like, oh well, China blew it, so how come they're not getting on like
I
they
mean,
did Kinley? And I was like, well, it wasn't really his fault, for being
no,
honest.
it was really Bellinger and Muncy's fault. Muncy running right in front of Bellinger.
But he loves running in front of people,
Yeah, he
apparently.
does. It seems to be his thing. I sometimes like I love Muncy. Sometimes I'm just not entirely sure if he's aware of his body and where it's at and what's going on. That seems to be. But someone also did in Muncy's defense made the thought that they thought he was going to throw it to second, so Muncy was just trying to get out of his
That's
way.
fair. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So it really was just a kind of confusion, miscommunication. Bellinger maybe
yeah.
should have just held on to it if he tried or spiked it into the ground. I
Well,
don't know.
he didn't have to throw it so hard because Posey was running, and Posey is just
Yeah,
as slow as Pujols is. So there's really no reason to just fling the ball over there. Just, I mean, you throw it over there, but don't throw it so hard. Just like a nice easy toss, and I mean, either you get him or you get him in a rundown, and you should be able to catch Posey in a rundown. So
I mean,
that was my only thing.
well, when it comes down to it, like maybe just score more than one damn run against freaking Logan Webb, and maybe we're not even having this conversation. Uh,
Yeah, but the Giants always play better against the Dodgers. They always
yeah, they
have. They
do.
probably always will. So
Yeah,
like
probably. You're not
if
gonna
this was
win
the
many
Phillies, the
games.
Dodgers probably would have scored 6 runs.
Like
If
you're
Logan
just,
Webb was on the
yeah.
Phillies, they probably scored 6 runs. But since he's on the Giants, it's obviously, I mean, besides DeSclafani, they're not going to hit anybody else.
Yeah, it's frustrating to watch. But that was that Tuesday game. Wednesday,
But
uh,
also, wait, before the Tuesday game, it was. I don't want to get too hard on Muncy because he's been fucking phenomenal. But the top of the A, second and third went out, and Muncy and Turner not able to get the run in was really hard to sit there and watch.
there was a couple of those
Not
that
not
I
even a sack fly for Muncy, and I was just like, really, bro? Oh, come on, Muncy. But again, he's been one of our better hitters in those situations, so I can't really be too mad at him because he didn't get it at that time. But it sucked in the moment,
I
definitely.
felt like there were a couple of that happened a couple times. Happened in Arizona too. I forget who was up, but it might have been like Smith, Turner, and Pollock or something again, and they just
Yeah,
couldn't do anything for some reason. It seems to be a thing where the Dodgers are they're currently the best. Like they have the best numbers with bases loaded, and then sometimes they just do absolutely nothing. I guess it
yeah.
just kind of depends on their mood.
So it's like the Dodgers have plenty of opportunities to like step on the Giants' neck, and they just haven't done it, which is why they're 8-8 against the Giants, where they could be, I don't know, 10 and what's 8-8, 16, 10-6, or 11-5 or something.
Yeah, a lot of those games too, like they only lose by one run. And that's what's frustrating playing the Giants because a lot of times it is one thing that's beating ourselves. But like you mentioned, I don't even get it. DeSclafani cannot pitch against the Dodgers. He's fantastic against everyone else, but the Dodgers. The Dodgers just were like out here singling, tripling him to death the entire time. That top of the third against him, they had like the 3 singles, Smith's 2-run triple, and then Pollock singled again and stole second base. Like, just a bunch of weird things that you don't expect to see from the Dodgers. Like, you expect home runs, you expect 1 or 2 singles and a home run, and we've got Pollock out here stealing bases, Smith hitting a triple.
The home runs
Buehler.
are fun, but I love these singles and
Oh yeah,
doubles.
so do I. It's a lot. It's just better baseball.
Yeah.
And you have Bueller, who just absolutely owns the Giants. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts on 98 pitches. There's no better pitcher for us to have when we need a bounce back game, when we need a shutdown start, when we've got the biggest game of the season. Bueller is that guy for the Dodgers, and he did it again here.
100%. He's been nothing short of amazing this season. Since DeGrom's hurt, as far as NL Cy Young goes, he should be in the conversation with Woodruff.
Oh
and,
yeah, he's
the other Brewers pitcher. He deserves every bit of recognition. Tonight's going to be a tough test against the Astros, but we should be seeing a really good Bueller tonight because he shows up for big games.
Yeah, he does. And I think he's going to be pumped up for this. He was not on the 2017 team, but that dude, I mean, we've all seen it. Bueller loves Kershaw. Would have loved to have probably seen him get a ring. He did make his MLB debut in 2017, didn't work out, whatever. But I have a feeling he's going to go out there and he's going to shove tonight, and that's going to be exciting. He has gone 6 innings in 20 of his 21 starts this year. So Bueller is that dude almost every single time they need him to be. Great season so far for him.
Yeah. I was also in game 2. I think there was 2 good innings of work from Mitch White in that game, who located and threw strikes. So
Mitch White has made me happier since he's been called up again.
Absolutely.
He's definitely looking better out there.
Because that Diamondbacks game, he made a mistake, but Cole Calhoun kills the Dodgers anyway, so whatever. But other than that, he did the same thing, located his fastball on each corner, mixed well. He pitched really well that game.
Yeah, he did. It's been looking good. So I liked what I saw in Arizona from him too. Then there was, of course, that Thursday game, which just did not go well. Dodgers can score against DeSclafani, but seem to not be able to score against anyone else. They couldn't even beat who was it, Johnny Cueto?
I don't think they ever score against Cueto. I feel like they've never scored much against Cueto. Honestly,
they
I don't know
should,
what his scoring numbers are against the Dodgers, but I don't think it's good.
Yeah, Price unfortunately struggled that one a bit. 4 1/3, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3
I feel
earned.
like he struggled his last 3 or 4.
3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Yeah, kind of. It feels that way. Luckily, hopefully he won't be in the starter role because I do like him coming out of the bullpen. He seems to handle that role really well, especially when they need the innings from him. Bickford, a little not great because he walked 2 and that one, gave up a hit. Vesia, who's been really, really good. Gonzalez, who's been hit or miss. We don't really know what we're getting from him half the time, it feels like. He gave up a run in that game, and the Dodgers they did absolutely nothing. That's really, there's not a whole lot to talk about from that game. They were awful.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it. Got nothing.
That was
there.
the trade deadline day, right?
That was Thursday. So day before. They had the day game, played like ass, lost, and then lost again Friday night when they began the D-back series. Seager was activated off the 60-day IL. Dodgers lost that one 6-5. Unfortunately, Gonsolin just put the bullpen in a very bad situation, could not make it out of the second inning. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with him. After the game, they ended up next day, they ended up putting him on the IL, but I felt really good. Like, I don't know if it was his last start or the one before that.
IL for?
It's the shoulder again. Okay. Right shoulder inflammation. So same thing.
So I think maybe it's shoulder fatigue.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Because, I mean, he just doesn't look like the same guy. I mean, if you look at his ERA, it's like, oh, it's actually pretty good. But, like, if you actually watch him pitch, it's like the walks, the command, it's not getting deep in the game.
5 walks, and he didn't even go 2 innings. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's just not great. So hopefully it's just like a shoulder fatigue thing, and they'll give him some time off. And then when he comes back, we can do that piggybacking thing I was thinking of. Because I do think he's a good pitcher. But for right now, if it's the shoulder or something else, it's not working.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say about him from that outing. Hopefully they just can give him the time he needs, because he couldn't put him away. only gave up 1 hit. So it's not like they were just sitting here mashing him, but 5 walks. You're not even making him work. And it's not like it's not a good Diamondbacks team. So, but
Especially
we,
without Escobar. Like, come on.
yeah.
Their best player's gone.
We did get Seager back that game, who went 2 for 5, which was pretty great to see him out there. He almost looks like he hasn't missed a step. Ironically, which I found hilarious, he reached on an error. It's first at bat.
Okay, yes, I saw the first at bat. So I didn't catch the full game, so I didn't know he went 2 for 5. I thought someone was calling that first hit for that first hit. He reached on a hit, but it was an error, and I was like, wait, what? But if he had 2 other hits than that, then good for Seager.
Yeah, no, 2 other hits, no strikeouts. He's actually only struck out once over his he's only played in 2 games. He had the 1 at bat on Sunday. Yeah, 1 at bat. But other than that, I mean, yeah, he's looking good at the plate so far. Liking what we're seeing. They, again, not a whole lot going on there. Chris Taylor had that home run in the top of the 6th. It was his 17th of the year, and that was actually his most home runs. So he has 17, his most since 2018, which was a career high year. He had 21. So he's probably going to blow right past that this year, the way he's swinging the bat, which is good for him. Let him get paid. He's going to be a free agent.
When it comes to Chris Taylor, I find it absolutely wild that like in 2017, 2018, he led the major leagues in strikeouts or was close to the top in strikeouts. And then all of a sudden in 2020 and 2021, he's become someone who is able to recognize pitches better and put the bat on the ball. Especially at an older age. You don't expect older people to be able to do that. But I mean, shout out to Chris Taylor. He just Chris Taylor stan. I am Chris Taylor stan.
He's gotten better. And then he had the 2-run triple in the top of the 7th. So he had the home run top of the 6th, 2-run triple at the top of the 7th. He just Taylor just seems to do it all. They lost that one in the bottom of the 10th. That sucked.
So, I do want to say, like,
runner on second, but
I do want to say with Gratterall, I don't think I've ever seen someone who throws 100 get hit so easily. Like, I know his 100-mile-an-hour fastball is flat, but still, it's 100 miles an hour. I've seen people have flat 100-mile-an-hour fastballs and get swings and misses. So what it boils down to is he needs to locate better. If he just locates on the inside or outside or maybe a little up, if it's not the sinker, then he should be able to get more swings and misses off that alone. So I think this offseason, he just needs to be working on his command, the fastball and slider. If he has to change his delivery a little bit, so be it. The potential is definitely there, but I mean, again, throwing 100 and him just getting hit easily is just like, bro, come on, man.
I would like for them to maybe change up his delivery because I'm very concerned about his shoulder long term, the way like he throws. Like he uses it's all like upper half, like he barely uses his bottom half. And it's a little concerning.
And he's got a big bottom half. Yeah. Use your legs, bro.
Yeah. So it would be a little nice if they worked on that. But yeah, he unfortunately has not been very, like, he's fun to watch because he's Gratterall. He's fun to watch. But that's kind of all it really is with him. He doesn't really make me feel good when he comes in. He might get you some hard ground outs or line drives or fly balls, but we need someone who can get some swings and misses coming out of the pen. And Saturday, because it was going to be a bullpen game anyways. Gonsolin did not do any favors on Friday. Saturday, the bullpen absolutely stepped up. Dodgers won that game 8-3. But before that game, Max Scherzer was activated. Edwin Uceta and Garrett Clevenger were recalled, and Gonsolin, that's when he was put on the 10-day IL with right shoulder inflammation. And then Gratterall and Raley were optioned back to AAA. So this was the outing that I was talking about for Mitch White. I really liked it. He didn't give up those runs until the end. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, only 2 hits. This felt like a really good game for the young guys. It felt like kind of a redemption game where instead of them all coming in and walking guys, they all kind of did pretty good. For the most part. Uceta looked good. Vesia, Gonzalez.
So I know it's just the Diamondbacks, but the way he was locating, I was like, okay,
Uceta?
Uceta.
He was just pounding the zone.
Fantastic. I don't know where this was before. If you fix it in AAA, good.
Well, he just came off the IL. So
I don't know how long you'll be here, but if he pitches more, I need to see more locating like that. His command was superb, and that was the best he's looked.
Yeah, he was just pounding the strike zone. So I liked that. He made it quick, easy work. But that was basically all of them that night. You had
Yeah.
White give up that 2-run home run. That was it. And then Clevenger did give up that one, that solo shot in the bottom of the 5th, but it wasn't any big deal. Other than that, like everyone was great. Kelly looked good, Trinan, Uceta, Vesia, Gonzalez. So that was a nice, that
Yeah.
felt good to finally see like the bullpen come out and see the offense score a lot of early runs and the bullpen didn't just like falter
Also,
right away.
I wanted to point out in the top of the 4th inning, um, Chris Taylor's single, it's just a single, but that was the perfect example of what I've been talking about on this podcast on getting on top of the ball with lift. As a person who looks into like more details into the game, he's been absolutely amazing to watch this whole season, and I'm loving every second of it. There's nothing bad to say about Chris Taylor right now.
Yeah, because you tried to, and then he said nah and fixed
Yeah,
that
he
shit,
told me to shut
real
up, and I
quick.
was like, all right, cool, 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 cool.
It's
I'll
okay.
gladly be quiet.
We appreciate those.
Yes.
I will never get mad by that ever. I will never get mad about talking shit and a player immediately
Nope.
going fuck you. That's my favorite. I'm like, hell yeah, thank you. Make me look stupid. It's a great feeling. But that was a good one. And usually when the Dodgers score a lot of runs, I mean, 8's not a whole ton, but usually we're like, oh good, they're not going to score any the next day. And that luckily was not the case. They went on to score 13 the next day with Urias on the mound, and they did it mostly, well, they started off against a lefty, so that was fantastic to see. They hit the lefty. Urias picked up his 13th win of the season. Another fantastic outing, 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts on 83 pitches.
Albert Pujols, I love him.
Yeah, that's really all that needs to be said after that game. And he stuck in there even in the blowout game, kept playing, did not care, just wanted to be out there.
I don't know if anyone's having as much fun as he is right now. I don't think so.
Yeah, he seems to be having a blast.
An absolute blast. Yes.
When he cleared the bases in the second inning with his
great
double,
at-bat.
he was just like so hyped at second base. Like he was
Great
so ready to go.
Fouling things off out in front of it, but got enough of the barrel to pull it down the line. And yeah.
We had our lefty killer out there. That was also the day that Betts was activated off the IL, and they also selected the contract of Yefry Ramirez, optioned Mitch White and Zach McKinstry, and Jimmy Sherfy was transferred to the 60-day IL. Unfortunately,
that's not great.
Yeah, definitely not at all. But Mookie Betts was back, and that was fun to watch. He was in there at second base.
Also, that man was playing second base great, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was definitely better than when he played second base last year. Last year was a little funny, but
I was talking to someone and they were like, if the hip issues are like persistent, they could just move him to second base full time.
Yeah, that's why they have him at second right now. He said he was a little sore after his last start, so they have him back at second base tonight against the Astros, which is fine. Like, he needs to be healthy, so they'll let the defense figure it out in the outfield until then. I'm totally fine with the way it's setting up right now. I think Taylor's in center with Bellinger and right and Pollock and left, so I will take it. Mookie went 2 for 6 in his first game back with a strikeout, a home run. I think the home run was off a position player, but who cares? Sometimes those can be harder to hit than regular pitchers because the ball doesn't go very. Hard.
I didn't have the sound on.
It was Brian Holiday, who they said had only pitched one game, so I think he was, and he had like a 13 ERA after Betts' home run. So
he might be like a backup or emergency catcher or something.
Yeah. Either way, screw it. Who cares? Good game to come back. Nice to hit that home run. Glad to see him back out there. He did make that nice play, like you said, at second base over the shoulder. And the Dodgers just kind of went off that whole game. They scored in every inning except for the first and the the first, third, and fourth. So they were just going off the entire night, having a good time. Everyone was doing their thing. Corey Seager went 1 for 4 that game with a double and a walk. It was so nice to see Seager with those line drive doubles back in the lineup again. And the only person that I feel like, besides Pujols, because he always deserves to be talked about, but like that game, AJ Pollock, my God. I don't know if there's anyone hotter in baseball than AJ Pollock over these last 3 weeks. The dude is just swinging the hottest bat. I don't even know. Maybe, but even then, like he's on a 20-game on base streak and he is slashing 20 games, 447, 488, slugging 776 with a 1.2 .646 OPS. That is insane. 34 hits in 20 games. Like, what? He has 10 doubles, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, 5 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Like, I don't understand what is going on with this man, but he is not he's not
Here's
slowing
the
down.
thing. I feel like, I don't know if I'm the only one that's noticed, but when he's been healthy, he's been really fucking good for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I know in October he's been bad, but during the regular season he's been really goddamn good when he's played. So people are like, oh, I'm just like, I've seen people talk about how they're sick of Pollock or whatever. Pollock's finally getting hot, and I'm just like, if you don't realize how good he's been offensively since he's been here, I don't know what you're watching. He's been great.
Pollock is hot. Take that for what you will. Either way, all the above. But he went 4 for 5 against the D-backs on what day was that? Sunday. Hey, Dodgers Twitter would very much agree with me. So
okay, I haven't seen that. Obviously the only people I've seen are like Seager and Bellinger, or Taylor.
No. I think every dude has like their own demographic on Twitter, but it's very much like my friends are very much like, call him, he looks like someone who fought in the Civil War. So like they give him, because he just like, look at him. Like he just looks like look at his face. He just looks like, first of all, he looks like he doesn't care about anything. Like if you look at his baseball reference page, he just doesn't look like he cares about anything. And he just goes out there and like crushes baseballs. Goes 4 for 5, 2 RBIs, 2 doubles. Like what, AJ Pollock? Besides, he just kills the D-backs. So that's always a good time, because his fan base was so shit to him that first time he ever went back. I was there that first series he ever went back, and a bunch of assholes just booed him. So they deserve that. Anything else really stick out in that series for you, or no? Because
no, I mean
they hit well.
It's the Diamondbacks, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Can't really gauge it.
I mean, there are some things, like even if like Mookie hit the home run, even if it's like the position player, if he got his swing the way he wanted it or the way it was before he got on the IL, perfect. And Pollock, it doesn't matter who's facing him. Apparently, it could be, I don't know, the best pick. It could be DeGrom. He might hit a home run. It really doesn't matter right now because Pollock is that hot right now.
Oh, he almost had that grand slam, and he pimped that so hard and hit it to the deepest part. Hit it to the deepest part of the park. Oh, that was tough.
He did. As soon as he hit it, I was like, okay, there we go. And then he started running, and I was like, uh-oh.
At least it was a sack. At least it was a sack fly. Like, imagine if that was to end the inning, it would have been like, oh, that's rough. But at least he drove home a run. I'll give him that.
He did his Jock Peterson.
And he doesn't get to show much emotion, so good for him. I like it. I'm glad. I don't care.
Oh, but when it comes to the Diamondbacks, he's full of it. He's like, you know what?
He's ready to go. So with those series covered, I kind of forgot to do this at the beginning of the episode because we were so excited about Max Scherzer and Trea Turner, and of course Danny Duffy. But tonight's game, we have a hell of a game going on tonight. The Astros are headed to town for 2 games. MLB, of course, made both of these 2-game series, of course, during the week, because we all know how that went when the Dodgers were in Houston. And I expect it to be just as rowdy, if not more rowdy tonight in LA. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how many Astros fans showed up. But Betts had already said he expects there to be fights in the crowd. And when you have players saying that, I think they kind of know the energy, because they even know it. Betts wasn't on the team, obviously, in 2017, but he very much was on the Red Sox team that was knocked out by the Astros, just like Joe Kelly was. So I'm sure they have feelings of their own. And tonight, we've got no one better than Walker Buehler and his 2.19 ERA going against that dickhead Lance McCullers Jr., who's it's a 3.23 ERA on the team, on the season. So he was on the mound in Game 7. I would absolutely love to watch the Dodgers just shove it up his ass tonight. At least he's not a lefty, so we have that going for us. That's a good start. And
he's a good pitcher, though, if we're being honest.
He is. Yeah, no, he is. I will never, ever, ever, as much as I hate a player, I will never discount their talent. Like, as much as I hated Madison Bumgarner, I gave him credit for what he did in October. So I'll give it to their players. They're good, but fuck all of them. I don't care for one of them. The Dodgers lineup tonight does feature Betts, Muncy, Seager, Bellinger, and Turner for only the 4th time this season. Have those 5 players all been in the lineup, and is the first time since April 5th. So granted, Bellinger hasn't been very good, but you know what? This offense is it's a good time to turn things around, especially with the Astros coming to town.
Seager's returned. He's been hitting lower in the lineup, so to me that means when Trea Turner returns, he's batting second.
Yeah, they should have the speed up there. I'd like that. That'd be great. would be a big fan of that.
Fastest player in baseball.
Yep. And the second, well, not the second, the first player of that trade, Max Scherzer, will be making his Dodgers debut tomorrow night against the Astros, which should be pretty insane. He does not have the animosity, but I also think that he's just a psycho on the mound. I think
But he
most
beat them
pitchers
in the
are.
2019 World Series, though. So I mean,
Yeah.
if any animosity he has, probably gone by now.
No, and I think with the fan base and him making his debut, like he's going to be fired up. Like he's going to go out there and pitch as
Always
if he was a
is.
part of that.
Yeah.
Yep, he's gonna pitch as if he was a part of that 2017 team because that's just who he is. He's got a fire under him all the time. So I can't wait. I have no idea what to expect. The Astros are a very, very good team. It might be us because of that 8-3 win and whatever, but sorry, I'm like reading all of the stuff that's coming through as to what's being yelled at Astro players, and someone said Altuve hates puppies, and I thought that was funny. But the Dodgers have a plus 165 run differential in baseball, and the Astros have the second best one at plus 149. So great team. Both teams can pitch. Both teams can hit. I expect this to be a very, very intense series. I expect it to be close. I hope it's not. I hope the Dodgers beat the living hell out of them. But like I said, they are a good baseball team. So Bregman did not make the trip. He was rehabbing against Corey Knebel last week. I also think he's a bit of a coward and just probably made sure not to show up in time for the LA series, just like they all were cowards when it came to the All-Star game. So he got lucky there. Hopefully the Dodger fans just give it to the rest of them to make up for it, because that team deserves it more than any other team in baseball. And I just hope the fan base gives them hell. Stay safe though, please, Dodger fans, be safe out there. But absolutely just give them hell when they're out there on the field and at the plate. I would love a 2-game sweep over them. Don't know if it's going to be happen. I just give me some good baseball and let's not lose the series, and I'll be happy. That's how I'm kind of looking at it with them.
I would like to see better at bats from the offense, but since they're not playing the Diamondbacks, I don't know how they'll show up. And again, the Astros are a good team, so but I'm really looking for like better at bats in situations.
Yeah, sometimes these games when the players are that fired up, it can kind of backfire. So, oh my God, well, there goes Yuseta again. Gratterall was just recalled, and Yuseta was placed on the IL with a right back strain. Last time it was his lumbar that he was on the IL for, and then came back and had that elite command. So he's going back on there, unfortunately. Yeah.
I do not want to see Gratterall this series. I'm going to be honest. I don't.
Yeah, I definitely think the Astros will pump his fastballs right into the pavilion.
Yep.
That's just they're a very, very good hitting team, and I think that they have the capabilities of doing that. But with that said, we can move on very, very quickly. Luckily, the injury updates are getting a little bit shorter. But before that, the Dodgers recalled Zach Rex and optioned Jeffrey Ramirez before today's game. Congratulations to Taylor. He was named the Dodgers Heart and Hustle Award recipient, which is given to one player on each team who demonstrates a passion for the game of baseball and best embodies the value, spirit, and traditions of the game. That is from Dodger Insider. Little correction last week on Bauer, although fuck that guy too. Hearing on whether his victim should be allowed a restraining order has actually been moved to 3 consecutive dates, which is August 16th, 17th, and 18th, instead of August 2nd, 3rd, and 19th. They had split it up. So correction on that. They did fix that. So yeah, that'll be happening. Injury updates. Kershaw was supposed to throw a sim game Sunday in Arizona to stretch to 4 innings, but he had some residual soreness from his sim game in San Francisco on August 7th. He was targeting an August 7th return date versus Angels. Looks like that is no longer going to happen. However, Robert said it's not a setback and it doesn't have to do with elbow or forearm discomfort. It's just like symptoms of him being sore from getting back out there on the mound, and they just want him 100% healthy before bringing him back out. So as long as it's nothing with like his back, his elbow, or his forearm or shoulder, should be okay. Should be good to go. And then Corey Knebel still rehabbing in OKC. He threw 22 pitches in his last outing, which was on Saturday. 16 of them were strikes. So seems to be going well for him so far. But other than that, that was all I had there. Series.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say series look ahead. We already know we had 2 off days this week, one Monday. We have one on Thursday. We've got Scherzer on the mound tomorrow versus Odorizzi. I like our chances there. Odorizzi, not very good, 4.3 ERA on the year. And I have no idea who the pitching probables are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we have Scherzer. Gonson's on the IL now. Everything's a mess and nobody's even named. So
I saw someone throw out a option, but I don't think that's going to happen. Someone was saying, "Oh, Pepe was going to make that on Saturday."
I saw a couple people say that he'd be lined up for Saturday. And you know what? Against the Angels, it might not be the worst thing to do out there.
The Angels are actually a good hitting team. They just can't pitch for shit.
Yeah, but I don't know if Ohtani will be hitting because there is no DH and he's pitching on Wednesday. And I don't think they're going to want to throw his arm in the outfield because they don't want him throwing on his off days, his recovery days. So I don't even know if we'll run into Ohtani. Maybe one game. Like they should figure out how to get him to play first base. Like would maybe be a good idea to get his bat in there. But yeah,
but Jared Walsh is a really good first baseman.
Yeah,
I think
he is
right now. So
he did play left field in the All-Star game and made a really good catch though. So I feel like if you're the Angels, you've got to find a way to get Ohtani's bat in there when you play NL games.
Absolutely.
And I'm super bummed that he's not pitching because I think that might be the only way, but we'll see what happens there. They could easily clean sweep the Angels. Seems like we suck against them in Anaheim, but when they're in LA, we seem to play a little bit better. God, I want to say sweep the Astros, but like the Astros are a good team. So it would just be emotion off of me speaking. But you know what? I don't care because like fuck the Astros.
So it's 2 against the Astros and 2 against the
3 Angels.
3?
Yeah. So I'm gonna like
that?
It's an off day Monday, so we'll talk about that on Tuesday.
Oh, so it's just 5 games.
Yeah.
Well, I was very optimistic last week and they completely let me down. So I don't know.
They're playing better though, and they've got Seager and Betts back, which they did not have. Yeah,
this is true. This is true.
But you know what? Sometimes you need it, and then you got the big boost with Buehler on the mound, big boost with your new target. Scherzer and Trea is probably showing up sometime this weekend. So, I don't care because it's fuck the Astros, and I don't think the Angels are very good. I'm just gonna go with 5-0. Could I be wrong? Sure, but I don't care. We're gonna put positive vibes out there.
I'm gonna go 4-1. I think they'll win the 2 against the Astros and then lose 1 against the Angels in some kind of stupid way. So 4-1.
Yeah. Hey, if we sweep the Astros, I'll be happy. I don't care. 4-1 is still great. I don't care. Come out winning both series, and I'll happily take it. With that,
I did want to say there was one interesting thing is that Rex got recalled before McKinstry did.
There's got to be something going on.
There's something wrong with McKinstry or what they're seeing in McKinstry, but also at the same time, he was sent down like 3 days ago, and he hasn't played for AAA. So I don't know what's going on.
Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully it wasn't just like, we don't know if you're going to be healthy, so we're going to send you down and use your spot elsewhere.
So when he first got sent down, I was thinking, okay, they're gonna fix something. He's looked lost to me. I don't know what.
Yeah, he hasn't looked like himself since coming back.
He's always one that he's always been one that just swings at everything. But when you're swinging at everything and not hitting it, then it becomes a problem. So maybe they're like, okay, if you're not hitting everything now, so maybe you need to work on your plate discipline in your eye.
Yeah, talk to Chris Taylor.
Not good. That part though.
Yeah, talk to Chris Taylor. So
also, real quick for the hits of the week, obviously it was Pollock. He led with 13. Muncy had 9. Taylor had 8. This week's gonna be tough because there's Betts, there's Seager, but they're just coming back. I think Taylor is gonna drop down in the order once Trey Turner comes back. He should be available this weekend. So I don't know. And Pollock maybe should play every day, but he's not going to. So this one's going to be tough about trying to figure out who's going to have the most hits this week.
I think I'm going to go. Go ahead.
Maybe JT.
Okay.
I was going to say maybe JT.
I was going to say maybe Muncy because I feel like Muncy loves to show up when it's against teams that we don't like. Yeah. So I expect him to do some damage against the Astros.
I can see Muncy here.
Yeah. And then he's a dad now. So he's just going to be even better than he already was. The already very good Max Muncy. So yeah, I'll go with Muncy.
Candidate Max Muncy, by the way.
And we are, yeah. And I had someone tell me, and I'm still pissed off about it because I had someone on Twitter tell me that Max Muncy could not be an MVP because he doesn't hit 300, and I was so pissed off on Twitter. It was one of the dumbest things I've heard because Max Muncy is literally one of the highest WAR players in all of baseball. Like it's not even close.
He's like literally.
I think he's
Tatis
literally
Jr.
behind Tatis, and that's it. Like Max Muncy's WAR is like something stupid, and like
what are we talking about?
Yeah, like his freaking OPS plus is like 160 on the year. Like please leave me alone and don't tell me that Max Muncy needs to hit 300 because batting average is an okay stat to look at. but it does not tell you
I mean,
everything.
it depends on what like. If you're going for someone who hits for average, like a Nick Madrigal, then sure, by all
Yeah.
means. If he's not hitting 300, then maybe there's an issue. Or like each year, if he's not hitting 300, maybe there's an issue. But he's not one of those players. He
No.
hits
And
for
he's
power
still
and gets on
freaking
base
hitting
for no walk. Yeah,
279. He's still hitting 279. He has two less walks than strikeouts. He has 66 strikeouts and 64 walks. That is insane. And he has freaking 22 home runs. There aren't a lot of guys out there with power numbers who are also drawing that many walks. And I like a
exactly.
971 OPS and a 164 OPS plus. He's 64% better than league average. That's crazy. I like Muncy does not get enough, I feel like, talk when it comes to MVP. And if he keeps this up, he's very much going to be in that MVP discussion, and he deserves to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that was it. I felt like I was gonna say something, but I forgot, but it's cool. I don't care. Do you want to lead us into the minor league minute?
Yeah. So for the minor leagues, Ryan Pepio was called up to AAA OKC. He got his first start last night where he went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, striking out 7. He had a really good outing despite a rough second inning because of the rain. But other than that, the fastball touched 97. The changeup was really good. So if he is able to develop that slider a little more, then he's going to be better than what he already is. And he's been fantastic. Um, After a struggle in June, Michael Busch had a great July, hitting 290, OPS at 990. So he had a very strong July, the best month of his little short career. It was a little surprising to get called up AAA, but I think with Noisy there and McKinstry going to be there soon, there's nowhere for him to really play. Miguel Vargas, who's really coming along this year as far as prospects go. In July, he hit 292, OPS at 833. He's having a very strong year between high A and double A so far. James Outman, who was like a standout in spring training, he's been called up to Tulsa. And since joining, he's hitting 306, OPS at 891. He's a little older than everyone else at 24, but he's emerging as someone who could be like a fourth outfield option who can spot start. Clayton Beater had really struggled, but in his last 3 appearances, he's totaled 7 innings, allowing 2 hits, 1 unearned run, struck out 13, and walked 2 batters. He's been great, and it seems like he's found his groove again. There are people who are still saying that he might have the best pure stuff in the Dodgers minor league system. Personally, I don't agree, but his stuff is actually downright nasty. Fastball between 93 and 94 miles an hour and a filthy curveball. If they would make him a reliever, we would probably see him sometime next year. But he's currently being stretched out as of late. He threw 3 innings his last start, so maybe even a multi-inning reliever would work as well. Bobby Miller had himself a great July, the best month of his short career. He pitched 17 innings, an ERA of 1.62, struck out 20, walked 4, didn't give up a home run. He's given up 1 home run all year. Him being a power pitcher who's touched 99 before, that's actually really impressive. He's probably far too good to still be in single A or high A, but the Dodgers are slow playing him. I think he should still be in double A though, with Pepio and Andre Jackson being promoted to triple A. After all, his teammate Reed Detmers has already pitched in the major leagues, and they were drafted at the same time. So I know they're slow playing him, and they probably should for his sake, but he's far too good to still be in high A. Andy Paget hit 263 in July, and that was after hitting about 100 halfway through the month. He's OPS at 905. He just continues to hit, show good power, extra base hits, drawing walks. He's only 20, and the people I've talked to have said he's just going to stick in high A for the rest of the year because he's so young. I would have liked to see him get the call up to Tulsa instead of Outman, but I understand not really rushing him because, again, he's really only 20 years old. And then Jose Ramos has emerged as someone to keep an eye on from scouts. He was signed out of Panama in 2018 and finally came over this year. He started in the Arizona Complex League where he hit 383 and 60 at-bats. He was then promoted to low A Rancho Cucamonga with the promotion of Johnny DeLuca to high A. So Fangraph Scouts thinks that Ramos is an outfield prodigy, and so far he's shown why. He's a center fielder, but most think he'll stick in right field. He's got a strong arm. He's got good defensive range. He's also currently hitting 422 and OPSing at 1246 and almost 50 at-bats in low A. The way he's playing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him crack the top 10 of Dodgers prospects next year. but a 1246 OPS and almost 50 at bats is absolutely fucking ridiculous. So a lot of people think he's gonna be the same as Andy Paget, and I would definitely take another one of those.
Yeah, can't go wrong there. Ray, I know you're gonna have quite a bit for us after this trade deadline, so go for it.
Yeah, so just do a fat rundown of some trade deadline moves. Jose Barrios went to the Blue Jays. The big return there was Simeon Woods Richardson. I'm not going to name every single return, just kind of maybe some big names. The Cubs fire sale, Chris Bryant went to the Giants for not Joey Bart. Javi Baez went to the New York Mets. Pete Crow Armstrong was the big piece in that. Anthony Rizzo went to the New York Yankees. And just for some middling prospects, Craig Kimbrell went to the crosstown Chicago White Sox, along with Ryan Tepera, which is a separate trade for reliever. Kimbrell went to the White Sox for a return that included Nick Madrigal. So big pay for the closer. Andrew Chafin ended up in Oakland from Chicago. Oakland also got Starling Marte from the Miami Marlins for Jesus Luzardo straight up. Josh Harrison and Yan Gomes have also ended up in Oakland from Washington. Kendall Graveman, this happened last Tuesday, but Kendall Graveman, the Seattle closer, Seattle, who is on the verge of wildcard contention, they traded him to division leading Houston for Abraham Toro and another pitcher. And Seattle players are not too happy about that. And Jerry DePoto made no moves after that when he said he would. Kyle Schwarber.
They got Diego Castillo, right?
Oh, they did. I guess you're right. I totally forgot about that. I thought their only move was Anderson, but still, that's
yeah. Yeah.
The 40 chess that the Poters tried to play. I don't think he won.
Didn't work. Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber ended up in Boston as basically a consolation prize for trying to get Rizzo. Eduardo Escobar, you mentioned, got traded from Arizona to Milwaukee, and Kyle Gibson and Ian Kennedy from the Rangers ended up in Philadelphia. I don't know why I missed this. Joey Gallo also ended up in New York from the Rangers. And that's all I can kind of run through off the top of my head. Couple injury updates. Tatis is on the 10-day IL again with left shoulder inflammation. Again, looked like a very painful thing for a rather mundane action. It was a feet first slide that he just put his hand on the ground. He's going to be reevaluated at the end of the 10 days. And surgery is not off the table, but that's kind of a last resort right now. And it looks like off-season surgery becomes more and more likely. And speaking of surgery, Tyler Glasnow will require Tommy John surgery for the elbow injuries that he suffered.
Yeah. So lots going on, lots of new teams, lots of just kind of stuff happening. But we are luckily in that last stretch of games. I think today is game 104, something like that. So we're kind of headed into that final stretch of the Dodgers game 108. So wow, even further than I thought. We're getting there.
And
Season's
we're
almost
in
over
August now, so I need you guys to start buckling down.
Yeah. This is time for it to heat up. Hopefully we've got Kershaw back in the next week or two and a half, whatever it is, he's healthy. Knave will be joining soon. Danny Duffy will be joining soon.
Duffy.
So.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, Danny Duffy, that's it. But I mean, he's going to help this team.
Yeah, he is going to be an upgrade for sure. So yeah, we're excited. We can't wait. And we hope there's plenty more to talk about with you guys next week. Please make sure you subscribe, follow podcasts, leave a rating and review if you're on Apple Podcasts. You can check out all of our stuff on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook at Dodger Yard. You can find me at Randy_Radcliffe on Instagram and IG. Oh my God. Sorry, Instagram and Twitter. Oh my God. Okay.
You can go to allmylinks.com/Konu, KONU, and find my social medias on there.
You can follow me at Stingray417 on Twitter.
We appreciate you guys giving us a listen, and have a great rest of your morning, night, afternoon, weekend, weekday, whatever day it is. Like always, fuck the Astros, go Dodgers, and we will catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.
See you later, guys.